Welcome to the world's first straight talk Solarcast. This is your go-to podcast for answers about solar. Brought to you by Solar Harmonics in Northern California, who invite their customers to own their energy by purchasing a solar panel system for their home, business, or farm. Each episode, we discuss questions facing people making the decision to go solar. The solutions to your questions are given to you straight by one of the leading experts in the solar industry, Jamie Duran, president of Solar Harmonics. Feel free to search our library for answers to questions that you're facing when considering solar. And now, here's Adam Duran, our host with the questions, and Jamie Duran, our solar expert with Straight Talk Solarcast.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Adam.
How's everything in the land of solar this week?
There's a lot of the 5 stages of solar right now going on, where it's we're almost at Thanksgiving. The solar tax credit is ending at the end of the year for people that want to own the solar. Yep. For some reason, it's continuing if you want to lease it or do a power purchase agreement. But yeah, leases are continuing, so interesting.
Nice.
But yeah, we're getting there's the denial. Well, actually, we'll start with ignorance. That what are you talking about? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about any tax credit expiring or ending.
Oh yeah.
And then who approved that? And what? Oh my God! What's wrong with the politician? Why? So I guess that's the questioning why. But and then it moves to anger, which is there's no way we have plenty of time because we only have 40 days until the end of the year, and it's we're booked up, and most solar companies I know are booked up and are planning for January, February installs. So that evokes anger, and well, why can't you? And then we move into negotiation, and as well, it's if I move you out and then I get a call in 2 weeks. Or if I move someone else, an existing customer, and then I get a call in 2 weeks from someone else, couldn't I just move you out of the way? And, so they've been in line longer. And, but yeah, it's interesting for sure.
But Jamie, that's not me.
Yeah. There's not a lot of that I'm more important than, I think you're exactly right. A lot of people, who cares about the other guy? I need mine done. And thankfully, that's not how I do business. And, maybe other companies do. So,
sure.
But it seems like they're calling around. And then a couple of days later, we get acceptance. And then, it is what it is. And we're booking into January, February. Interestingly enough, so we are able to do a prepaid lease now for people, which means that instead of them getting a 30% tax credit, they get a 15% discount on the program. They don't technically own the system for 6 years, but after 6 years, it reverts back to them with no transfer fees or annual fees or anything like that. So, and all the warranties stay in place. So it's essentially they get a 15% recovery of the tax credit amount, but they get it on the front end. So it's better than zero. And so when we're running the numbers, before the tax credit, we were seeing break-even times anywhere from 5 to 8 years, I would say, depending on how much electricity they use. If they use a lot of electricity, the payback's faster because they're paying more for electricity. And if they don't use very much, then it's longer. And then now what we're seeing is with this 15% prepaid lease discount, and with the planned increases from PG&E, we're back to like 6 to 8 year break-even time. So it's if you're not using a lot of power, solar is not as attractive. But if you use a lot of power, and there's plenty of people who are doing so, especially if they're adding on to their system, they got a new electric car and they're driving 100 miles a day, or they're getting a big one we're seeing right now is heat pumps, where they replace their natural gas furnace with an electric heat pump, and they're saving a ton of money on gas, but then they spend a ton of money in electricity, and so we're seeing quite a few of those, and it starts that whole cycle of anger, denial, fear, and then finally acceptance. Then we're in fine shape there. So It is going to even out, I think, as PG&E certainly is excited to increase prices to make solar more attractive. The carrot and the stick that we've talked about, where the stick is getting bigger and the carrot is going down, is certainly real. But yeah, we'll and I think probably by January, February, as we're start approaching the high times, and even the off-peak times for PG&E are now starting to be what they were like 3 years ago as far as the peak time. So the rates are going up and going up quick, and there's going to be lots of people who are not excited about the increases, but they'll hit the pain point and they'll go solar. So we have definitely a good future. Hopefully, the companies that are in business today that are planning to go out of business in January stick around and take care of their clients, because that is a new growth business. If anybody is listening, is taking over solar warranty. Keep in mind, no one wants to pay for it, and they think it should be a free service. But
Yep.
yeah, that's that is a rough part. But if you can convince them to pay for a solar repair or an inverter replacement or anything like that, then that is going to be a growth industry, no doubt about it. So. Very interesting that we're in the the 5 stages right now, but yeah, lots of people still going solar, wanting to go solar, and please, can you just move me up, and I'll be your best friend, and I'll invite you to my birthday party, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's fascinating, fascinating developments as we progress. But who
And
knows?
there's nothing that anyone can do, right? I mean, and it's not just that you're booked up. There's permitting to be done, right? There's a lot of other stuff that needs to get done before putting that solar on somebody's house, right?
Yes, and we have so many people who are like in the middle of a remodel, and they've upgraded their service, or they've changed out their service, or they're getting a new roof, or all kinds of things that can delay a project. And yeah, those people are really upset, because if their solar is not permitted, get the approved permit by the end of the year, then they do not get a tax credit, even though it was in process, even though they've paid the money, even though, if it's approved, and it's not me, this is according to the the OBBB, that it must have the approved final permit by December 31st, or there's on January 1st, there's no tax credit. And that's just, it is crazy. And then the other crazy part is that, Christmas Day is a national holiday, so we will be closed there. And if we finish an install on December 26th, which is a Friday, that is more than likely is going to be really difficult to get a building inspector out there. And so then 27th, 28th closed, no way getting a building inspector out there. So we have 29th, 30th, and 31st. Realistically, there's no way we're getting a building inspector out on New Year's Eve. And so if we do not finish a project really by December 22nd, where we're finaling on the 23rd, I think it's going to be really challenging to get a inspector out before the end of the year. So, that's brutal. So, but if you like holidays, you have almost a 4-day, or actually probably nearly a 2-week holiday if you started on the 19th of December. But not great for end of the year and tax credit wise, because people are going to be some people are going to be really upset. And we definitely cut it off, unfortunately, on September 1st, saying we will do our best, but if you didn't have a project under contract by that time, it's out of our control. And we're going to be going down to the last day for sure. And we are. Yeah, and then the other issue is that our suppliers we were like on our 4th different solar panel. And so now suppliers are saying we are really running out, and we might be using panels that they're finding in the back of the warehouse, from like 2022 type of thing. So,
wow.
Yeah. It's going to get a little crazy in this last month. And so unfortunately, the people who procrastinated are not excited about losing the tax credit. And so we say, make sure you write to your congressman and your senator. And shockingly, I got a response from a letter I wrote back in July, from our state senators, our U.S. senator, and saying, "Yep, we agree that it sucks. So we'll keep fighting." It's like, okay, great, but keep doing that, and 4 to 6 months you'll get a response, but. Let them know that you would like the tax credit back. That'd be great. And I would prefer a tax rebate because if government's sending out $2,000 checks to people, why not roll that into a tax credit? A tax rebate for going solar. I think that spurs a lot of industry as far as my company's name, Solar Harmonics. It's because solar works with everything. So it helps with electric cars and heat pumps and just normal air conditioning and electricity, Bitcoin mining, pool heating. The list is pretty long of all the things that we use electricity for. And I think it makes a lot of sense to generate the power yourself, and then that frees up cash flow to spend on other things. And, with inflation and everything, this is certainly a great way to hedge against future electricity increases. That otherwise just go completely hog wild for forever and ever. So, yep.
This is it.
That's exciting.
This is all we can do. This is the only cost we can take some kind of control over.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And an electric car and solar to me is just the biggest no-brainer. And I thought of that, 20 years ago when first electric cars were coming out. I was like, wow, you could get rid of your gasoline expense and all your car repairs and all your smog checks and all that kind of stuff, and drive essentially on solar power, which is just still, this glass up on the roof generates electricity. It just blows me away every time. It's pretty great. So that's all I got for today.
Thank you, Jamie. We're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for taking a few more minutes out of your day to learn about solar. There's always something happening, always something going on. Jamie proves it week after week and has been doing that for, I don't know. It seems like 8-9 years now. Wow. That's awesome that, Jamie, you're giving your time, and this kind of straight talk doesn't come from your local solar reps because they're obviously a little biased. In any case, if you have a question for Jamie for an upcoming episode, you can go to our Facebook page, Straight Talk Solarcast, send us a message through there. If you'd like to check out our library of past episodes, you can go to solarharmonics.com, click on the podcast link at the top of the page, and you'll be taken to that library, and it's searchable. Sweet. Lastly, if you have a friend considering going solar, this would be an excellent podcast to refer them to because it will save them thousands upon thousands of dollars over the life of their system. That is an amazing friend. Wow, you're great. And finally, if you can give us a 5-star review, we will be very thankful for that wherever you got this podcast. So until next time, everyone, see you.
That's all for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Straight Talk Solarcast with solar expert Jamie Duran. Join us each week for more answers to your solar questions. Speaking of questions, got some? Email us at solarcast@solarharmonics.com and we'll be sure to give you an answer in an upcoming episode. This episode of Straight Talk Solarcast is brought to you by Solar Harmonics, the leading solar energy developer in Northern California, who invite you to own your energy. Visit them on the web at www.solarharmonics.com.